YouTube video. This is about the mind mapping for my class assignment by Professor Roy and Professor Rita. Hi both professor, I'd like to thank for the both professor to post us to make this video, because this is make me more expert in public speaking in YouTube video without reading the teleprompter. Okay, without further ado, thank you for watching. Let's watch it. Thank you. Hello, good morning. Now I'd like to share about what I learned in the first week of the class of the global economy. This class is quite refreshing and fun because this is the first class after we have the first semester break. What we learned in the first chart, this chart is actually explaining about the economic power or total share of the GDP. From the east goes to the west and then back again to the east countries. China and India were highly populated countries and leading the economy from year 1000 to year 1800. Due to the advanced technologies and then industrial revolutions, the economic power go to the west countries, for example United States. Learning from their mistake, east countries are back again to lead the economy. In the second chart, we also learn about the Schrödinger cat. Two realities live at the same time. I give you an example like the Bank BCA as the traditional bank. They are acquiring the small bank and form Blue Digital or Digital Bank. Both banks are going on operations together, and then we don't know about the progress or growth yet in the future. The third one, we also learn about the difference between the GDP and GDP PPP. GDP is the monetary value of goods and service in a period of time. Indonesia is on the 16th rank of the GDP in the world in the year 2021. And then what is the difference with the GDP PPP? Purchasing power parity. I give you an example. If you have $1,000 US, you can buy one basket of goods in United States. However, in Indonesia, with $1,000 US, you can buy 3 baskets of goods because the cost of living in Indonesia were cheaper than United States. That's why the GDP PPP was on the 7th rank, jumped into the 7th rank in 2021. Week 2, we learn about the absolute and comparative advantage. China has absolute advantage to produce both wheat and potatoes. India has comparative advantage to produce wheat at the lower opportunity cost. So China produce potato and India produce wheat, and they trade together based on their needs. We also learn about the investment and financing opportunities between domestic and MNC or multinational companies. Multinational companies has bigger opportunities to get the financing from all over the world and also can select the projects with the higher return. We also learn about the factors affecting the currency, such as economic growth, inflation, government actions, and balance of payment. The fourth, we also learn about the subprime mortgage. The big companies such as the Lehman Brothers were bankrupt because they cannot pay the ecosystem and the domino effect. The bank engaged the broker to create the loan where the KPI based on the number of loans that borrowed by the customers, not based on the credit scoring. Week 3, tariff and quota. To protect the local industry, a country will usually implement tariff and quota. The number of tariff or variations depends on the agreement. Tariff is monitored by the GATT and WTO. Quota policy implemented by a country such as import licensing requirement or voluntary export restraint. Now, with tariff, the cost of productions will increase, foreign producer will increase the market shares, and also tariff is an income for the government. While with the quota, the selling price will increase, high profit for foreign producer will increase, but the quota will not increase the market share. Week 4, class with the guest lecturer, High Excellency Tanto Yahya, Indonesia Ambassador for the New Zealand until December 2021, and now Indonesia Ambassador for Pacific Island. Indonesia have the same proximity with Pacific Islands since we have the same culture, same background, close to Indonesia, and of course we'll have the cheaper shipping costs. When the market is formed, our export connected economically with the Pacific. Week 5, international business. There are levels of international activities differentiating between domestic, international, multinational, and global business. In international business, business are across national boundaries. There are a couple of ways process of globalization such as export-import, royalty or licensing like the Korean restaurant, or strategic alliances such as BMW and Louis Vuitton, or joint venture or direct investments. In international business, there are 4 risks that investors should consider, such as commercial risk, cross-cultural risk, currency risk, and country risk. Since the investment is quite high for a foreign investment company, the investor should carefully consider all these 4 risks. Week 6, Company International Strategy. The company that compete in the global marketplace will typically face two competitive pressure. First, pressure for the cost reductions. Company will try to minimize its unit cost. Second, the pressure for the local responsiveness. The company will need to differentiate its product offering and marketing strategy from country to country to accommodate the market diversifications. Here are the examples of 4 globalization strategy as depicted in the table. Week 7, we learn about the competitiveness of nations. According to Prof. Roy Sambal, there are 4 group competitiveness of nations, and these 4 groups is divided again to 12 pillars. What are the 4 groups? First is the enabling environment, second human capital, third market, fourth is the innovation ecosystem. Is Indonesia on the track? Yes, government has done a lot of in the past recent years, but of course government needs to consistently build the infrastructure, maintain improvement for the BPJS Kesehatan, and produce more on the value added instead of exporting the raw material. Secondly, we learn about the prosperity. There are 2 types of prosperity, inherited and created. Indonesia and Singapore started with the same GDP about 50 years ago, and then now in 2020 GDP per capita for Indonesia is $4,000 compared with the Singapore $60,000 US. What is the lesson learned? Indonesia with more natural resources. If Indonesia cannot utilize more on the natural resources, the nations will lose in the competitions. Lastly, we also learn about the calendar effect, Simaga, sell in May and go away. Research show that sell in May and go away is more profitable than the buy and hold.